Hey, Anita.
Hi, Dean.
Anita, so how about you tell people a little bit about you, and then I have a two-part question for you right off the top. What the heck is a fractional CMO? And what does a fractional CMO do in the first 90 days?
Cool. So I'm Anita Chauhan. I'm a fractional CMO.
Okay.
I mainly work with early stage startups and help them learn to walk marketing wise. I have experience working all the way up to Series B. I helped early stage startups develop their first marketing department, their brand, and even the customer experience. And lately, it's been a lot of fintech, AI, SaaS, B2B to C marketplaces, and especially telehealth. And
Hmm.
so I guess when we're thinking about like what a fractional CMO is, I think about this a lot because I feel like that's a question I get. And it's like there's a big influx of people that are moving towards this, but there's such a differentiation between a fractional CMO or fractional anything and the consultant, right? So I think about the difference in the type of work I do. I'm embedded. I'm part of the team. I sit at the table. I'm not just someone that liaises with just one person on the team, and that's that difference between fractional and consultant to me. I think, I'm effectively a person that is on your team, and you treat me as a leader in your organization. So I think that's my definition of a fractional CMO, and someone who comes in to help lead the overall marketing strategy, the brand, any of the targets that the overall organization needs to hit within a specific amount of time. And when I jump in, like 90 days, I'd say the first 90 days, one thing I've really noticed working with early stage startups and also now mentoring a lot of them is a lot of companies, no matter what stage you're at, typically have a problem with messaging and positioning. So I usually tackle that first. Like, who's your target? Who's your audience? How are you differentiating yourself against all of your competitors? Get that nailed down and then go from there. Find
Yeah.
your channels and build a strategy from there. So typically 90 days, I get in, meet the team, and really focus on customer and user research and building out messaging positioning.
All right. And Ryan, hey, how you doing?
Heather Dean, nice to see you
Uh,
again.
you too. Okay, so Ryan, a little bit about you. Excuse me. And what do you normally do, or what problems do you go hunting for in the first 90 days?
Sure. So I'm a fractional CMO focused on Web3 gaming, which is gamers on the decentralized web. It's a lot of fun. It's mostly the entire space, as you can imagine, startups. So also early stage startups, a lot of interesting global teams. So most of my clients are not even American where I'm based. So I've been able to connect broadly across the industry and broadly across the world through this. Being fractional CMO is an amazing opportunity now. We're seeing more and more of fractional CMOs coming out because people realize they need a fractional level of leadership rather than full-time CMO. So I think this trend is only going to continue. I also see in the startup world where money is a little strapped, they want to bring the leadership at an affordable price as they grow, and then maybe they can scale up together.
Yeah.
So I also look at it as not just a part-time. I look at it as someone who can see the industry broadly. So because I don't have blinders on, I'm only looking at one company. I can connect the dots a little more than maybe if I was just narrow, right?
It's funny how you mentioned like it's all startups because it's Web3. So you don't deal with any of the 75 or 100-year-old Web3 companies.
Yeah, the 100-year-old companies are
You're not interested in them.
We'll see if there's a world in 100 years.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so Ryan, let's like switch away from the CMO for a second. Let's pretend I'm your client's CEO, okay? And I probably had to, get approval and budget and carve out, part of the company's, revenue or investment to get a fractional CMO for a year. How am I squeezing like every last penny of value out of that 1 year engagement? That 1 year I'm going to have a fractional CMO for.
It's funny. A lot of clients want to start immediately with a campaign or a specific initiative or something that just makes them feel active. We need to activate marketing. We really need to do something. We haven't done this. So I think that a lot of times it's clarity at the beginning. It's an issue of clarity and communication and really understanding what they're trying to achieve. Like, Dean, I think we've spoken about this before, but I think you told me that Web3 is often a problem looking for a solution. Or
one of my best lines.
Yeah. it really resonated with me. I understand product market fit is maybe one of the biggest issues, right? So having.
I said Web3 was a solution looking for a problem.
Oh, okay. I messed it up. Maybe I'm the problem. I need a solution team.
It's not actually my line. That's a line from people describing blockchain several years ago until it finally found its footing. Yeah.
There you go. A solution looking for a problem. Better said. But I think the idea is I want to align with your business goals. I want to understand the story you're trying to tell. I want to tell that story as effectively as possible and meet your goals through that translation, right? So if I can't understand what you're trying to achieve because it's constantly evolving, I think the best thing to do is have a vision and we can execute together and we stay the course until we have data to prove whether it works or not. Instead of always flipping and trying to follow the trend, because my industry is all about, okay, what's happening right now. I think that often people get lost in the sauce and don't really focus on their vision and communicate that clearly with me, because my job is to be a great listener. A CEO needs to be a great communicator, right?
Anita, how about if we invert that question a little bit, okay? So instead of how does a company get maximum value out of a fractional CMO, how do companies typically waste the money that they spend on their fractional CMO? They do something they shouldn't still be doing, or they don't do something that would have made the investment in a fractional CMO worthwhile or better. How do they waste the money?
Yeah, this is actually something I contend with a lot. So I come in and I say, you should work with me for 6 to 12 months max. And from there, you should graduate from me because I'm tactical. You should use me. I'm almost like a mercenary. You have a task, you want to go to market, you want to expand, you use me for that. I come in and really speaking to what Ryan was saying about we need clarity. Let's align on what we're doing together. That way you can make the most of me. If you choose to bring me in and squander my time by putting me in meetings I don't need to be in, that's your choice. But at the end of it, you're not going to get anything out of me. You're not going to see me as a trusted partner that actually has helped you achieve certain business goals. There might be any movement towards any of your revenue targets overall. We might even still just kind of be floundering and not finding product market fit together, right? So I think this is how you can hemorrhage a lot of money on fractional workers, because we do come with a lot of expertise, but you have to use us well. So listening to us, working with us, and making sure that you give us a balance of autonomy, but also be there when we need that support, because we aren't going to be in every single meeting. We are going to rely on you to make sure you're articulating your needs to us. So bring us along, but also give us a balance, because we need to be in the know, but also autonomous.
All right. So let's switch over to the marketing team for a second. Let's assume there's a marketing team in place. A lot of startups is not. A lot of startups is one junior person, right? But regardless, there's no leadership, really, maybe not even any management, but there's maybe a mid or junior employees, okay? 12 months from now, 12 months in, after that fractional CMO starts, Anita, how is that marketing team likely to be different or better or worse? But I can't imagine worse. But how are they different now? Or what are how are they better or improved?
Well, we hope that they're better. Hopefully, if they're using me effectively, we all win. But I think if there's a team already existing, I think they can expect more clarity when it comes to strategy. And especially if you're a team that maybe hasn't had a lot of leadership, which is something that happens a lot with startups. Sometimes you're being led by your CEO. The CEO steps in, they become the marketing head. They're doing it side of table. They're doing it when they can. You might not have a proper focus or vision, but still being tasked with a lot of stuff. So the marketing team can hopefully have a lot of clarity and vision by the end of working with a really good fractional CMO. Have an idea of what campaigns they're working on, understand maybe their target audience a little bit better. I think it's really about collaborating with them, and a really strong marketing leadership would come in and make sure that this team has the foundation to grow, and also personal development. That's a very big thing for me. It's even though I'm coming in for a short amount of time, I want to make sure that they're doing what they're best at. I want to make sure they get a chance to actually do the work that they came on board for, and not just, and this is typically symptomatic of working in a startup, you just do it all. So maybe you're actually just I'm really good with email campaigns, but I don't get a chance to do it. I help them focus in on what matters. And so I guess the team just overall thrives because people are happier. They're doing what they want to do. They have clarity. They can actually see the fruits of their labor, right? Instead of it just being, I don't know what the CAC is. I have no idea how much I'm spending on ads. I'm just throwing stuff at the wall.
All right. And then Ryan, actually the same question, but then I want to take you into a slightly different direction after that. But okay, we're 12 months in. There was some tiny, in your case, because it's mostly Web3 companies that are under 50 years old. So they're probably a pretty small marketing team, or maybe you even had to hire some people in. Like, how is like the marketing team as a function different or better at the end of the 12 months than at the beginning of the 12 months of a fractional CMO being there?
Yeah, I love what Anita said about role creep. Basically, it's just everyone's trying to do everything in startups, right? And then they forget that there's roles at all. I think what you're really doing as a marketing leader is you're creating culture in some way. You're creating a culture of excellence, right? And I'm a systems guy. I love to like automate everything, try to see how they connect. I like to have a team understand how their role connects to other roles and a higher level mission. So often that's missing. They're just doing their job, right? They just want to be excellent at some vanity metric on Twitter, or they want something that they can point to and say that was me. Right. But sometimes they miss like, okay, why are they doing this job at all, right? And how is this part of a bigger mission for the company? How is it connected to the business goals? Like, can I concretely point to something that we did as a team and say, like, I played a role in this and I helped it be successful? So a lot of it is just like, I think understanding each part of the team has their own goals that might be in conflict with the company or can be aligned with the company, and then aligning all those goals together so you have a shared mission and you're kind of working as a machine instead of like just a bunch of people doing dissociate jobs on Zoom, right? Because we don't often have that office connect either. Right. So having a sense of, I mean, like this, I feel like I know you guys, but really, it's a little disconnected, right? So creating a little more connection and having a sense of ownership over your results. Yeah.
All right. So let's imagine that there's a few people in that marketing team. One of them is the most junior employee, like 25, fresh out of college, probably the first time they've ever had a full-time job as a marketer, right? So, if you had like an aside, or you were talking to yourself when you were like brand new to this or in that situation, like what would you say to that person? So like, look, this person, this fractional chief marketing officer is going to be here for 12 months. Here's what you need to be doing to take advantage of them while they're here for your career. What would you tell?
Taking advantage of them for your career would probably not how I frame it. But like career,
to be blunt here.
Yeah, I'm so like the way we work in Web3 is so decentralized, I guess, where everyone's a stakeholder. Everyone feels like they have like a flat organization. Ideally, it often doesn't look like that in reality. There's still hierarchies, but there's this idea of stakeholdership. There's this idea of like I should be empowered to do the highest level of work in my role, so that I can achieve like maybe I just keep on going up the chain of influence. So I think that they could understand how to progress. When I had jobs, which feels, like sometimes like people are not allowing you to get out of the role because they want you to do the most for the least. So they'll keep you there for years and like dangle it over your head. Like I want to see people grow, right? So I think like having a sense of like where you can go with this and what's the point of this marketing role is inspiring. Whereas like I've had some jobs where I'm a communications coordinator and they're like, this is it. If you want to go, you can, but hopefully we can milk you for a couple more years for all you're worth until you're burnt out. And I prefer that someone takes my job over in the company, like Anita's saying, where like we're hired hands to like prop a company up and get them going. So I want it to work without me. So it's a very different dynamic, right? Like I want those people to step up because they know the business the best.
And Anita, how about you? Most junior person, or you're talking to Anita at age 25?
Oh boy, Anita at age 25 would do anything. She was hungry. So I think that like if you're talking to that person, chances are, especially I think when I think about startups, it's like you kind of know what you're getting into. Like you're entering this, it's like arena, and you're going to put your armor on and you're going to try to do the hardest work. So I want to always support those people as much as they can and make sure that they're finding out what brings them joy and makes them want to come into their job every single day and level them up. I think the ideal end state would be that they feel empowered, that when I leave, that they know exactly what they're doing. They have maybe a path forward. They know what they're contributing, and they know every single day that what they're doing is actually moving the needle towards what the overall company goals are. Also, their professional, personal goals. Like I think, like at that age, the sky's the limit. And I think, yes, the job market's tough right now, but if you're able to give them the structure and the support that they need to thrive and be that leader, that kind of, even if you are there for 12 months max, give them something to actually like walk away from and say, I have some clarity in where I want to go in the next, like maybe I don't stay here, maybe I move on. I think that's the biggest thing. And very similar to Ryan, I'm such a culture person. I've worked in DEI before, and it's such a big part of what I do and bring to my teams that I don't want that person to stay, even in a full-time role. When I ran marketing departments for a fintech, Series A fintech, and all these other companies I worked at, I wanted those people to move on from us. And part of that is understanding that they also have desires and goals, and to actually encourage their growth will actually be better for the business.
Okay, Anita, I have I think one last question to wrap us up, and we'll go back to being blunt again.
Yeah.
There are easier ways to make a living, right? Why do this?
Why? Oh, ooh. I really love the challenge. I think that the thing is, there's every single company that I work with has its own unique needs. I'm typically industry agnostic. I'm across several different verticals. So every time I enter into a new company, there's something new to think about. There's a new audience, there's a new channel to test, and there's new subject matter. And that's really exciting for me. And so every 6 to 12 months, I get to be faced with a whole new thinking challenge, and I can approach it with a new lens. And I think that's the most fun thing. And typically, because I work with a lot of startups, I get to work with people who are passionate, that have a drive and a hunger that, oh my goodness, that it makes me light up every single day. So I think it just depends on what you're looking for. I wouldn't say, I think anything that comes with like fractional consulting, freelance work, you sometimes live in this like feast or famine life. I was recently lamenting to some friends that it's like I'm always in BDR mode. Like even when my pipeline is great, when I have a full dance card, I'm still looking. I'm still building those relationships. So yeah, if that's not comfortable for you, then maybe fractional doesn't work. But if you're ready for a challenge, if you want to, really test your skills, this would be the place to do it. Also, the work-life balance is lovely.
Yeah. All right. Ryan, how about you? Like, why do this job? Why is this fun? Why is the frustration worth it? Or you're the only fractional CMO in the world, maybe, who doesn't experience any frustration at all. I don't know. Let me know.
Yeah, I just don't know what else I would do.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to. I've been in a lot of different career paths, and I love that we're solving the biggest problems possible for our clients.
Yep.
I love the pace of my industry, and that I'm very attention deficit. I need to always get new novel situations. This is the best way to do that for me and help people change like a small aspect of their clients' lives or their customers' lives. So it's kind of like I guess it's like the thing that you have to do, right? Like when people
That I understand.
like
I'm not a fractional CMO. I understand. Yeah.
What's that?
I'm not a fractional CMO, but like you do it because it's what you have to do.
You have to do it. Yeah.
You have to do it. Right? It's not a money thing. You have to do it.
Yeah, it's
me, sure.
one of the same of your personality, I guess.
Yeah,
your personality in some way, without making your whole personality. Yeah.
In marketing, it's like sales. You have to be an optimist, or the job will kill you.
Have to. And it's so funny because, like, just to interact, I never thought I would like sales, but it's become such an integral part of my day to day. Like, you have to, and like typically you get into marketing and you're like, oh, I don't like sales, don't want to touch that, but now I have to. You just have to do it.
All right, guys, this has been so good. Thanks very much. Thank you for participating in episode 61. I can't believe we're at 61 already. Okay, so thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Anita.
Thanks, Dean.
And thanks for watching. Whether you're probably seeing this on a clip, according to the analytics, but if you're not and you watch the whole episode, that's awesome. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.